I have a stat about the New York Jets offseason spending spree that is going to make Jet fans excited and really start to see that Joe Douglas has a true plan that's in place for this organization. Let's hit it and get it started. Hit it! Welcome in, everyone. My name is Jake Asman. This is the Jake Asman Show. The Jets just had one of their greatest wins in the last 20-something years, and we're going to break it all down. Zach Wilson, Robert Saleh, C.J. Mosley, Joe Douglas, Elijah Moore, Mekhi Becton, Michael Carter, Braxton Berrios. Of Super Chats, you cut the line. Smash the like button down below. That's that thumbs up icon. Now, let's talk about the New York Jets. All right, here we go on a Wednesday Jake Asman Show. The New York Jets offseason continues, and man, I feel like the Jets are in a much better place today than they were just a couple days ago. By the way, if you haven't seen it, check out the video of Braxton Berrios being all pumped up to re-sign with the Jets. That's exactly why they needed to keep him. You want guys that want to be with the organization, that get the long-term vision for the team, and I think the Jets are obviously headed in the right direction. The stat I mentioned, though, at the top of the video, and shout out to Connor Hughes from The Athletic for pointing it out. I'm going to put it up on the screen. It's a little lengthy, but I'll break it all down and I'll explain. So Jamal Adams and Marcus May, they were both in the Jets secondary at one point. Both guys are no longer with the Jets, as we well know. Marcus May signing last night with the New Orleans Saints. Jamal Adams, of course, going to Seattle, where he's now on Jets Northwest. That being said, the two guys are going to make a combined average per year salary of $27 million. If you look at the major signings the Jets have made, right? Laken Tomlinson, CJ Uzama, Jordan Whitehead, DJ Reed, those guys, those four players have an APY average per year salary of $39 million. So you just look at how the Jets have built this team. It's why Joe Douglas does not want to go out there and overspend on free agents. Could the Jets have signed Marcus Williams? They could have, but according to multiple reports, they would have had to have paid Marcus Williams an extra $3 million a year, aka the Jet tax, because they're not as good of a team as the Ravens. So as the Jets try and rebuild here, you could see the plan. It's going to take a little bit, right? Joe Douglas, having been on the job now, going into his third full offseason, year one was tear it down. Year two was get the quarterback, get the coach, and start to add some talent. Then obviously, draft players that fit the rebuilding timeline. But while that was happening and the teardown process was going on, the Jets accumulated picks and cap flexibility. They have flexed their cap flexibility muscle so far this offseason. And now you look ahead to the draft. We all know the Jets are set up. They got 7 total picks in the first 4 rounds. They have 9 total picks, all within the first 5 rounds. So this is where the Jets offseason really goes into into hyper gear, so to speak, right? Specifically, we know about the picks now in the top 40, but just from a cap standpoint, you look at all the contracts that they have given out, and they're all contracts that you can get out of after 2 years at the most. Like, not all the details for all these guys have been in, but just looking through what's been out there, they're going to continue to maintain that flexibility where you want to draft and develop your own, but then you want to go out there and obviously use free agency to fill some holes, but you don't always want to set top of the market value. And the Jets have done a nice job, I think, of bringing in guys that are 24, 25 years old. If they're a little older, they're still under the age of 30, guys going into their second contract. And a big thing they've done with this offseason spending spree, they brought in guys that are durable. They have brought in guys that are going to be there. And even the guys they brought back, like Braxton Berrios, a no-brainer. The guy's tough as nails. Chemistry is important. Go back to them bringing in John Franklin Myers and then keeping him. Like, there's a changing of the organization now where they're keeping their own. They're sending the right message to the rest of the team that if you play well here, you'll get paid by us here. And like that's something that just didn't happen with previous regimes because, let's be real, there was no one that was worth, going out of your way to bring back that you had to build around. And that's clearly starting to change. I feel like this is a team that is in, still a rebuild mode, but they're hitting the transition at the right time. and they're getting better, they're improving, and that's all you wanted to really see from the Jets. Do they have a plan in place? You clearly see the plan. They're not going to overspend on free agents, and they're going to go out there and they're going to use free agency to supplement their key needs. They obviously have plenty of other needs. They're not done just yet, but the NFL draft's going to be a big one for this team. But early on, as far as the quote unquote major splashes, you drastically overhauled your secondary. You drastically improved your offensive line with one signing with Laken Tomlinson. And you feel like this team's got a plan now, right? CJ Uzama, a huge add at tight end. And now there's other moves they can make. Joe Douglas can really clean up here because the Jets still have plenty of cap space. Bring in a linebacker, bring in another corner, another safety. They're going to add another wide receiver. And this is before you even get to the draft where you take your swings with your 4 picks in the top 40. So through 2.5 days of the offseason, as I sit here and go live with this video, the Jets are clearly a much improved football team from where they were. And I think if you're a fan of this team, you got to be encouraged by where they're at. That being said, I want to hear from you guys. How are you feeling about the Jets offseason so far? Hope everyone's doing well on a fantastic Wednesday. We'll take some of your comments and questions here in the chat. Before we do that, though, I got to plug this because I'm telling you guys, you don't want to miss out on the opportunity to bet with BUSR during the NCAA tournament. They're running a contest where all you have to do is create an account, make a deposit, and if you bet on the NCAA tournament at least $1, you're automatically entered with the chance to win $10,000. BUSR is my official sports book. I've been talking about them now for the past month on the show. Great company. Customer service is excellent. I just got off a call with them right before I hopped on actually to do this video. So head over to the website, busr.com/Asman. You can just click the link in the description for this video. It takes you right to the homepage. Then you hit the Bet Now button. You sign in, make your deposit, bet on the NCAA tournament, bet on whatever you want. But I think March Madness is the most bet on thing of the year besides the Super Bowl, of course. So check it out. I'm on Rutgers tonight, by the way. Go Scarlet Knights in the first 4 game that they have against Notre Dame. So busr.com. It's my official sports book. They got an awesome promotion for March Madness. busr.com/Asman. And you're automatically entered to win. With that being said, let's open it up. Comments, questions. How we feeling, Jet fans? If you got a super chat, you will cut the line. This one is from Travi. Travi says, "What's up, Jake? Since Quincy Wilson, as nasty as he is on the field, isn't so good in coverage, and Blake Cashman can't stay healthy, what do you think about signing a linebacker, Kaiser White?" I'm assuming you mean Quincy Williams, Travi. Look, the Jets need a linebacker badly. The guy I would like to see them go after is Miles Jack. I think he has familiarity in the system. Saleh obviously knows him. He's a guy that I would say that's a player the Jets should try and target. Now, as far as other value signings, there's other options for this team. It doesn't just have to be Miles Jack, but the more I look at the linebacker market, the more I think that there's a chance that this is going to be, something that they address in the draft. And I can tell you for a fact, the Jets believe in Sherwood and they believe in Nasruddin. Now, both guys got hurt last year. We barely got to watch them play, but I guess they feel like those guys could come in and fill the void at linebacker. I agree with you on Cashman, can't stay healthy. I like Quincy Williams, but he's probably not an every down linebacker on a really good team. So they got work still to do there, Travis. There's no doubt about that. Frosty Taco says, "Bringing back Slotty Pippen made me happy." For those who don't know, Slotty Pippen is Braxton Berrios. My radio partner down in Houston gave him the nickname Slotty Pippen, which makes absolutely no sense, but I'm just glad Braxton Berrios is back. Charles says, "Hit the like." URSD says, "Hit the like. It's animated now too." Appreciate you guys for encouraging others to like the channel. BD says, "Thoughts on Hooper for another tight end?" Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know what it would cost. I don't know if the Jets are going to go in those waters, but there's other veteran tight ends that are out there. To me, the tight end approach should be sign another one because the market tells you can get a pretty good one. Whereas the market was not good to receivers, there's pretty good tight ends that are available. So you could get a tight end. And then obviously I still would draft the tight end with one of the picks the Jets have. But maybe it doesn't have to be in the second round now, but third round, got 2 picks in the 4th round, draft another tight end so you could draft and develop while the guys that are in front of them play, and you don't have to rely on a rookie to be one of Zach Wilson's key weapons. Tony with a super chat, he cuts the line. "Do you think Miles Jack or Clowney is in play?" I think both guys should be in play. I'm going to advocate for the Jets to sign Jadeveon Clowney. He's not as expensive as Von Miller. He's not going to be as expensive as Chandler Jones. He's not going to be as expensive as even what Randy Gregory just went for with the Denver Broncos. He Anthony Bard, the Cowboys. By the way, did you see the Washington running back McKissick? He Anthony Bard, the Bills today. Pretty funny. On a side note, though, Clowney, I think, would be a good fit in Saleh's defense. Now, there's some durability concerns with Clowney. He was healthy, though, last year, which is a good sign. But he is a lead against the run, and he's not going to be as expensive as some of these other guys. He took a one-year deal from Cleveland this past year. Clowney, I like. Miles Jack, I like as well. NY to Florida writes in. Being from Port Jeff, Long Island, before Florida, 25-plus year Jet season ticket holder. But JD and Robert Saleh remind me of how Bill Torrey and Al Arbor built the Islanders to a dynasty in the 80s. Let me tell you what. If the Jets could just win one championship, I'm good. They win 4 in a row, I mean, they won't. It will never happen. What the Islanders did was historic. But I'll tell you what. Let's hope Saleh and Douglas are to the Jets what Torrey and Arbor were to the Islanders dynasty in the 1980s. I do think they got a plan in place. It's ultimately going to come down to Zach Wilson, though, right? I mean, Joe Douglas is staking his general manager career on Zach Wilson being a franchise quarterback, because if he's not, they got problems. So they got to continue to support Zach Wilson, surround him with players, and let him take that next step in year 2. Let's see. Corder Waters is not feeling the Dan Feeney signing. I mean, it's a depth piece. If Dan Feeney has to play, that's a problem. So I'm not overly concerned with Dan Feeney at all. I think the Jets got way bigger issues to address than bringing someone in. Paul B says, give me Miles Jack. Look, Miles Jack's really good. There's going to be a lot of teams interested, though. We know the Jets don't overpay. Let's see. Alex says, sign Odell Beckham or Von Miller. You're not going to sign either. Plus, Odell's coming off injury, so he wouldn't even be able to help the Jets right away. Who knows how much he even plays this year? Michael says Jones just got signed by Vegas. Did that just happen with Jones? Yep, Chandler Jones finalizing a deal with the Raiders, according to Tom Pelissero moments ago. So there you go. I'm curious what the number on the contract is, but the Jets were never really going to be in play for that as well. By the way, Joe Flacco officially just re-signed with the Jets as well. I'm seeing this as well. So there you go. Joe Flacco back with the New York Jets, which is good. Eddie says, Clowney, great run stopper. Yes, he is. He's an elite run stopper. It's not a terrible pass rusher. Opposite Carl Lawson, he could be pretty good, and that wouldn't stop you at all from drafting an edge at 4 or at 10. We know Robert Saleh loves to rotate defensive linemen. That's how he runs his defense. You can never have enough good pass rushers in Saleh's system. Frosty Taco says, what's your favorite signing so far? Re-signing Berrios was my personal favorite just because I just love the message it sends to the Jets and the fan base. To me, the best value signing that they made, though, besides Braxton Berrios, I really think getting Whitehead on a 2-year deal, 24 years old, won a Super Bowl. I mean, Bucs fans were upset that he left. Tells me the guy's a damn good player. I thought the Whitehead signing was excellent by the Jets. I really do. Uzama was awesome, too. There has not been one bad signing. That's the thing. They haven't overpaid. They have paid market value. They have overhauled their team. Like, I'll give you the stat if you're just tuning in that Connor Hughes brought up at the beginning. It's a little lengthy here, but stay with me. Adams and Marcus May, both in the Jets secondary. Those two guys are now making a combined $27 million a year. Tomlinson, Uzama, Whitehead, and Reed make a combined $39 million. That's great team building right there. Like, Douglas has got a plan. It's going to take time, because you're not just going to try and do the quick fix every year, bring in a couple star players, and boom, we're good. They're trying to lay a foundation. And all these contracts they've given out have flexibility, do not cripple them financially. It's been a little slower than I think a lot of Jet fans wanted in this rebuild with Douglas. But, going into his 3rd full offseason, you're starting to really see the plan come together here. And I love it when a plan comes together. G-Star says, grab a tight end in the 4th round. Jelani Woods, 6'7", great blocker. No need to overreach for a tight end. There are multiple good tight ends in this draft. Jelani Woods is interesting because of the size. I know Cole Thompson is very high on Jelani Woods, but there's other guys I like in this draft too. Dolchich from UCLA seems to be skyrocketing on boards. Obviously, you guys know my thoughts on McBride and Ruckert. I'm good with them. Jalen Weidemeyer is another guy I like. I like what this team's doing right now. I really do. Let's see. I see some people in the comments here reacting to the Chandler Jones signing. I'm curious what the money for that's going to be because that is a significant contract that they had to give out, but it didn't make sense for the Jets. He's on the wrong side of 30 for them to make that deal. But yeah, the AFC is making some moves here, right? You got Chandler Jones to the Raiders, then Ngakoue to the Colts. Flacco's coming back to the Jets. So there you go. By the way, as far as Flacco coming back, that does not mean Mike White would not also be back. I think the Jets placed their tender on him. So in a perfect world, the Jets have the same exact quarterback room back that they had from a year ago. And we know Robert Saleh has said that. Matty NY Jets, Flacco's back. Damn right he is. James says, Jake, how much remaining cap space do the Jets actually have? I don't have the exact number, James, yet. It's not available. My guess is the Jets probably have, I don't know, if they probably have over $25 million left. Because remember, so many of these contracts, it's not about the total number. It's not about even the average per year salary. It comes down to what's the cap number. And the way these teams now can manipulate the cap with signing bonuses and roster bonuses, they still have plenty of money. And if the Jets need more money, remember, they could restructure CJ Mosley's contract, Sheldon Rankins' contract. They could cut Greg Van Roten. They got plenty of moves. Super chat here from DH. He cuts the line. Clearly, we are addressing wide receiver 1 in the draft, Wilson or Burks. I was a Burks guy. The more I watch Garrett Wilson, though, the more I'm coming around on Garrett Wilson. I'm good with either guy. And if they really love Drake London, I get it. I love his size as well. But give me Garrett Wilson at number 10 right now if I have to make a pick. I'm a big fan. Big fan. I think he might be the most complete route runner. Siegel Nord says Charlie Kohler in the 4th round. People are high on him as well. Mike Cohen says, what are your thoughts on Hooper? Hooper, I like. He's going to have a bigger market, though, and I don't see the Jets spending more big money on Austin Hooper. I don't. Now, could they get a deal on Max Williams or Hayden Hurst or someone of that ilk? I think they could. And I don't think they're done at tight end. I just think Cooper's probably going to be out of their price range. I want them to spend the money on Myles Jack. I think pairing him up with CJ Mosley, 2 guys that have been captains of defense, 2 guys that have been in the league a long time that are still playing at a high level, I think I would do wonders for this defense. I would spend the money on Myles Jack. Robert says wide receiver at 10. Look, right now I'd be shocked if it's not a wide receiver at 10. Now, Allen Robinson is still out there. Maybe his market comes crumbling down where the Jets feel like they'd want to get back involved. Doesn't seem likely, though, based on the reporting that's out there. URSD says, any interest in trading a 3rd or a 4th rounder from to the Panthers for McCaffrey? His girl and Berrios' girl are sisters. He doesn't stay on the field. That's the problem. He makes a ton of money. That does not seem like a Douglas move. Plus, don't you want to give Michael Carter the chance to be this team's guy? McCaffrey's awesome. He never plays. I'm not taking the chance on bringing him in when we know this Jets team has just been decimated with injuries the last couple of years. It's been brutal. Mike says, why do you think Cleveland let Hooper walk? Mike, I think they let him walk because of their cap situation. I think that was a big reason. Paul with a super chat. He checks in. He would like to see a JC Treader GVR swap out. So it would be a Connor McGovern swap out. It wouldn't be a GVR swap out. They would cut McGovern and save $10 million by doing so, and then they would add Treader. I'm not against that as well. I think if they want to improve at center, they could do that, but the Jets might value the continuity of just bringing McGovern back. He's going to be cheaper than Treader, and I've been told by people that they love McGovern, and he had a pretty good year. I think Jet fans are a little too hard on Connor McGovern at times. He was a decent player this year for them before he got hurt at the end of the season. And then as far as another option that's on the table, It's possible the Jets end up with Linderbaum. It is not impossible that they trade into the first round if he slides and they get him. Wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. They did that with a guy you might have heard of named Nick Mangold once upon a time, trading back into round one to get a center. So it's possible that Linderbaum is still on the radar. And if they bring in Linderbaum, you'd think they probably would cut McGovern. So just keep all options open here. What I like about the Laken Tomlinson signing is that they obviously now have more flexibility. They don't have to go lineman at 4 now in the draft. They have they have flexibility to still improve the team, but they don't need to be desperate. Too often it feels like the Jets were desperate in free agency just to fill every hole with a bunch of cash. They've added players here that give them flexibility. Also, just to clarify, I was confusing Mangold with another Ohio State player. I think Dustin Keller they traded back in for round 1 for. Mangold, I believe they had their normal pick that year. But you get the point. Late first round, they took a center. So there you go. Let's see. User D says, could AVT play right tackle, McGovern the right guard, Tomlinson the left guard? They're not going to do that. Plus, they have 2 tackles. They're not going to move AVT. He's going to be an all-pro left guard. You're not going to mess with him. Eddie says, I could see Allen Robinson sign a 1-year, $10 million prove-it deal. Probably not, Eddie. He's still going to have a market. And the thing is, why would you do that with the Jets? If he's going to sign a prove-it deal, he's going to sign with a team that has an elite quarterback in place so we can have a great season statistically and then hit the market and get even more money. Jets NY cuts the line. He says, like you said, must be in the hunt in December. It is not unreasonable for the Jets to go out there and play meaningful games into the month of December. It's not. They're off to a good start. They're not done just yet, but that's why they have 9 picks in the first 5 rounds of the draft. They got to have a 2022 draft like they did in 2021. They do that, the Jets, I think, are at least an 8-win team with the potential to be better pending Zach Wilson's development year 1 to year 2. Spinback says, Linderbaum's your guy, but isn't Zion Johnson more flexible? Zion is working on becoming a center. He's already an elite guard at the college level. I'd be good with either one. They could trade back into round 1 to get Zion Johnson. It wouldn't be shocking. New England might take Zion Johnson now in the first round, considering the fact that they traded away Shaq Mason yesterday for nothing. I couldn't believe that deal. Why is GVR still on the roster? Because he doesn't make a lot of money, so there's no reason to cut him just yet unless you have a plan in place to replace him. What's the rush? Let's see. What wide receivers are left on the market? Jamison Crowder and Keelan Cole. Also, obviously, Allen Robinson as well. John says, Jake, who do we grab at 4 now post-free agency? I think it's still going to be an edge rusher, guys. I think it could be Thibodeau. It could be Trayvon Walker. It could be Jermaine Johnson. I mean, depending on what the Jets think about any of these edges, it could be someone I didn't even mention yet. I think if Thibodeau's on the board, though, I still think the Jets take him. I just think they're going to see the talent level, and Salah's going to say, I could turn that guy into an all-pro. Mr. Rex says, do the Jags still need a left tackle? Well, they brought back Cam Robinson on the tag, but that wouldn't stop them. They think Akeem Aquana is the best player in the draft. Why not take him and then put him at right tackle for the year? Tell Cam Robinson to play right tackle. We're putting Akeem at left tackle. I know the consensus is that Hutchinson's more likely now to go number 1, and I get that, but I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world for Jacksonville to still go out there and take a left tackle with the first pick. I don't think it's off the board completely. PJ says, would you still draft McBride? Yeah, if the Jets love him in the second round, I'm not against that at all. Take him at pick 35 or pick 38. Get Zach Wilson help. That has to be the goal. They've improved the defense. They've obviously improved the offensive line. They improved the tight end room. But there's no rule that you can't continue to double down on those positions I mentioned. Plus, they need a number 1 receiver. So that probably is going to happen at pick 10. Let's see here. This one is from Adam Richards. He's got a super chat. I believe that's the Euro sign, but I could be dead wrong on that. Adam checks in here. Jake, okay, it's got to be the Euro sign, right? Adam's here watching from the UK. UK Jet fan here. Really interested if you guys know what a following the Jets have in the UK and how you feel about it. You're the best. Adam, you're the best. So I am actually well aware that the Jets have a pretty significant following in the UK. The Jets were awarded like the licensing rights to the UK. That was like a big thing last year. We all know that Woody Johnson was the UK ambassador during the Trump administration. The Jets have actually developed quite the following in the UK. I know this too because I used to work at a summer camp. So a lot of my friends at the camp were counselors that are from the UK, and they would tell me that they know Jet fans that they've been around that are in London and in other UK cities. So I've actually, Adam was aware that the Jets have a significant following in the UK. How do I feel about it? I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that the Jet fans are now in Provo, Utah because of Zach Wilson from BYU. I love that. I think it's cool. So yeah, more Jet fans, the better. You know, it's an awesome community, man. It really is. Let's see. VR, we need a wide receiver who could take the top off a defense so defenses respect underneath. Yeah, they need a number one wide receiver. I think Elijah Moore can be a number one, but they need a number one wide receiver. So if Garrett Wilson they feel is the guy, I don't care if he's maybe not as tall as Drake London. If he's better, he's better. Take him. Kevin wants to know, what is your prediction for the Texans' first pick and why? Your guess is as good as mine, Kevin. I don't know. I think they're looking at the same players the Jets are looking at. I think there's 4 players for 3 spots for Houston: Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Neal, and Aquano. I don't think the news that they're keeping Laramie Tunsil would prohibit Nick Caserio from drafting a player at 3 that's an offensive lineman. Also, depending on where they trade Deshaun Watson to, could impact the draft plans. They might be willing to take Hamilton at 3. If they trade Deshaun to Carolina and they're sitting there with the 6th pick, they could get their offensive lineman there. So it just depends on a lot of factors that I don't have the answer to just yet. Travy with the super chat. He cuts the line. Let's see. I got to find your question, Travy. There it is. Do you think there's a free agent signing the Jets can realistically still make who would be an instantly day one starter on the roster? Miles Jack, Jadeveon Clowney, J.C. Treader. There's guys. Believe me, there's guys. Let's see. Eddie says we could get Cole Strange at center in the 3rd. He was great at the Senior Bowl. Salah loved him. It's not out of the question they draft a center. That's not Linderbaum. I'm curious to see what round that would be. There are probably at least 2 or 3 centers that are going to be picked within the first 4 rounds. $3.5 million for Flacco. So that's backup money. There we go. Also, it's pounds. I screwed that up. I'm just seeing the comments here. What happened to the euro? We don't do that anymore? Unbelievable. It's pounds sterling. I don't know what that is. I just thought it was either euros or pounds. I love the Jets because I worked with Eric Decker, had no idea who he was. It's funny. I had Eric Decker on the radio show a couple of years ago. Awesome interview, by the way. We talked Jets for most of it. And, you know, I was like, what's it like when you go out in certain settings and, like, no one wants to talk to you? They want to talk to your wife. So sometimes Eric Decker feels like you, Adam. No one knows who he is because his wife is more famous than he is, which is hilarious. Nick says, how do you feel about Jarvis Landry? I don't want him on the Jets. He's going to be expensive, and I think they have already enough slot guys. Berrios and obviously Moore can play in the slot. I don't think Jarvis Landry is a outside guy. They need an outside number one, as someone in the comments mentioned, that could take the top off the defense. Just saw this super chat for Keep It Simple. He cuts the line. Can you really expect a wide receiver to be taken at 10 to be your wide receiver 1? Seems unrealistic, and I'd expect fans to label the guy a bust if he doesn't put up Jamar Chase numbers in year 1. I caution Jet fans this. It's why I wanted Amari Cooper. It's why I would have been okay with Allen Robinson. Relying on a rookie to be your number 1 is not a sure thing. Most guys do not hit the ground running. Even Elijah Moore, who was good last year, right? We all love Elijah Moore. It took him time to get going. He only finished with 500 receiving yards, and then he got hurt. So, yeah, it's unrealistic to expect Garrett Wilson to come in and be Jamar Chase, or for Garrett Wilson to come in, let's say, and be Justin Jefferson. It doesn't happen. Out of the 23 receivers that have been drafted in the first round over the last 2 years, I did this stat on the show last week, only 3 have gone over 1,000 yards as a rookie. So there's a risk. But the Jets' thinking would be, we're not just worried about this upcoming year. We're building a long-term strategy, a long-term plan, which is why we're okay, maybe not maximizing our roster, so to speak, with veterans because we're building long-term. I can understand that argument. It's why I'd want to supplement the receiver at 10 with another tight end in the draft, another tight end here in free agency. Like, Yes, they need a number one wide receiver, but they need to think of it in terms of playmakers. They need more playmakers. They have some playmakers right now. We like Moore. We like Berrios. Corey Davis will be better this year. Uzama's going to help. A full year of Michael Carter is going to help. They need more, though. They're not done. Jeremy checks in. Would going after Hooper at tight end make sense? It would, but I think the Jets are going to get outbid on him because he's a two-time Pro Bowler. He's really good. Richard says, could you see a DE and a linebacker? Are you talking in the draft? I could, Richard. I think it depends. I think pass rusher at 4 is going to happen. I just don't know if it's going to be, Thibodeau or Walker or Karlaftis even or Johnson. We'll see. John says, BYU fans may be Jet fans for a long time. There are thousands who are still 49ers fans from the Steve Young era. Of course, there's also a guy in San Francisco named Fred Warner. Look, the reality is quarterbacks, though, connect with fans differently. They just do. If you're a BYU fan, you obviously love Fred Warner and root for him, but you have a connection with Zach Wilson because he's the quarterback. So it makes sense. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure there's some BYU fans that love the Bears because of Jim McMahon. BYU's got a rich history of quarterbacks. So let's hope Zach Wilson can have a career like Steve Young or Jim McMahon. I think every Jet fan would sign for that. Jack says DJ Chark. DJ Chark signed with the Lions already. He's off the board. Byron Pringle to the Jets. Interesting name, King Joe. Interesting name. Christian Lynch with a super chat. Just seeing this, so let's get it up on the screen. As you guys know, super chats cut the line. Am I wrong for thinking wide receiver 1 is overrated? Just get a group of really good wide receivers. How many actual wide receiver 1s are there in the league? Well, there's a lot, Christian. There's a lot of wide receiver 1s in the league. But I agree with your sentiment about, the conversation about wide receiver 1 maybe being a little overrated. I think we need to rephrase that conversation to they need a playmaker number 1. Who's the Jets' best offensive weapon right now? Is it Elijah Moore? Is it Corey Davis? Could I argue it's actually Michael Carter? If he's healthy, he's over 1,000 yards. It's a running back. They need better playmakers. There's multiple ways to get it done. And, they could look at it like Garrett Wilson. We take him at 10. He might not be, Jamar Chase year 1, but he could be damn good. And he's only going to get better and better. So I think it's an interesting point you bring up, Christian. They need playmakers, and they need a really good group of wide receivers. Bringing back Berrios, having Moore, having Davis, it's a good start, but they're not done. Let's see. Adam checks in. No running back moves, so still hoping for BYU's Tyler Algier. Yeah, he's certainly in play for the Jets with one of their picks maybe in the 4th, 5th round. I mean, they got Michael Carter as a round 4 pick a year ago. There's no doubt. So, they obviously, I think, are going to use the draft to take a swing on another running back, and they should. If you know my philosophy in the draft, always draft a running back. Why wouldn't you? You find guys all the time that are diamond in the rough. Never take one in the first round, but there's guys that they could hit on that are going to be really good football players that are going to be mid-round picks. Happens every year. We saw it last year with Michael Carter. Ryan says, come on, Jake. The Jets' best offensive weapon is Connor McDermott. I wonder in McDermott's contract with the Jets to re-sign if he has any incentives in there for touchdowns caught. I was at the game against the Jaguars at MetLife where he caught that touchdown, and that was unbelievable. Boogie Down Bronx says, hey, Jake, do you think Mims can have a comeback year with the Jets and produce at a higher level? I'm not relying on Mims, Boogie. I wish Mims all the best. I don't think he's going to be on the team, though, by the time we get to week 1 this year. I think he's probably cut in training camp or traded away for a late round conditional pick. Matt says he's looking at trade backs in round 1. Certainly on the table. Wouldn't shock me if the Jets trade out of 10. They really wouldn't. They still could get a wide receiver in the first round and trade out of 10. What if they traded out of 10, got extra picks, and then they ended up trading back into the first round to get a player they covet? Where they traded back, took a receiver, then traded back into the first round, and they took Jameson Williams because the value was too good to pass up. There's a lot of options for the Jets. Chris says, Sauce at pick 4, Wilson at pick 10. I don't hate it, Chris. I prefer an edge rusher, though, at 4. Eddie checks in. I'm not giving up on a deal for DK Metcalf. What do Jet fans understand that Seattle is not answering the call if Joe Douglas tries to call them about DK? They would have to overpay to get DK, and then you got to pay him. And I'm not against paying him because he's great, but I don't want to then have to give up the 10th pick in the draft for a guy that's going to be a free agent after this year. Remember, DK Metcalf was a second-round pick. He doesn't have a fifth-year option, so you got to pay the guy. And with the money that is going to receivers, it doesn't make sense for the Jets right now to pay Metcalf what they're eventually going to have to pay him when they clearly feel like the draft is good enough for them to fix their receiver issue. URSD says, Jake, excellent article by Connor Hughes of The Athletic on why JD drafted much better under Saleh as coaches partnered with scouts. Yeah, I read that story a couple of weeks ago when Connor posted it. It's fantastic. Brazen wants to know. I want to know if anybody in this chat that's watching has hit it. You guys know the drill. Hit the like button down below. And if you're not watching this live right now, comment your thoughts. Are you happy about the Jets offseason? That's going to help this channel continue to grow. I might as well announce this right now. Let's plug the giveaway that we're doing to my fellow Jet fans. So you guys know the drill on this. I'm giving away an Elijah Moore Stealth Black Jets jersey. It's a size large. Jet fan Ron ordered an extra one. He said, hey, Jake, I got it. You want to give it away on your show to a Jet fan? I said, absolutely. So we're going to do a giveaway here. If you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jake Asman, I will enter your name to the list. We're going to do the giveaway here at the end of the month. I will mail you the jersey. All you have to do is be subscribed to the YouTube channel. Hit the like button down below because I'm telling you, likes really get the channel to be shown to more people. Many of you probably discovered me in the first place because you saw it pop up on your home feed and you clicked the video and you're like, who's this guy with the funny last name? He talks about the Jets. I'm in. So, yeah, just give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram. It's at Jake Asman. I'll add your name to the list. If you already follow me, shoot me a message, and I'll make sure I add you. I appreciate you guys for supporting the show. And any chance I get to do some giveaways, I want to do it. So thanks so much for watching. And, yeah, I'm going to try and do some more giveaways every month. But this jersey one is a unique opportunity thanks to diehard Jet fan Ron for sending it over. So just give me a follow, and I'll put your name on the list. Albert says, are Spot Track official numbers up? I don't believe so, Albert. I keep checking. As of this recording, they're not all up yet. Dan says, size large will alienate like 80% of Jet fans. Are you saying Jet fans are fat, Dan? Is that a fat joke? My goodness. Let's see. Dale says, Jets or Texans? Pick one. I grew up a diehard Jet fan. I still am a Jet fan. I cover the Texans, and as long as they're not playing for the Jets, I root for them to do well. It's pretty simple. My job is more fun when the Houston teams do well. So, Jet fan, but I'm about to talk about the Texans for almost 4 hours today on the radio with this Deshaun Watson story. Ethan says, Jake, why did the Jets bring back Flacco? There are better options out there. Are there, though? They're not paying Flacco a lot of money. He's a backup. I mean, like, what more do you want on a backup? Your backup is a former Super Bowl MVP. You could argue Joe Flacco is one of the best backups in the league. He's very good friends with Zach Wilson. They get along great. That's what you want on a backup. Nick says, Jake, we need a damn linebacker. Agreed. Dennis says, trade out of 10 for Lloyd. I don't see the Jets getting Devin Lloyd. Dan saying Jet fans are pleasantly plump. Keep it simple says, not fat, big boned. All right. Well, I mean, BD says, I'm an old white and large is too small. Now, the thing with these jerseys, I want to know, they come from a parts unknown website, which I've given out on the show before. For those of you who have received one from me or received the link, you know what I'm talking about. They run a little big. So if you're normally an XL, this large is probably going to fit you better than an XL would. So there you go. Super chat here. I should have got to this when it was written. I guess it just got posted. Here we go. From Meg A33. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for everything you do, Jake. No, thank you for giving me money to talk about my favorite football team. I think that the offensive line moves that have been made in free agency may be priming us for an OT at 4. I would prefer an edge personally, but we will still need another offensive tackle before it's all said and done. So I would say this. I don't think the Jets' moves stop them from taking Akeem Ekwonu at 4 if he's there. They love Icky. He might be their number 1 graded player, so it's not impossible they take him. But I think it's less likely today than it was a couple days ago. That's just my read on it. And then the other thing would be this. They are still going to draft probably another tackle. I just don't think it's going to be in the first round. Like, I think they'll probably take someone in the 3rd round maybe. It could be, honestly, it could be in the 2nd round too. We'll see. They trade back from 10 and get an extra 2nd round pick. Why wouldn't you try and find a tackle that you could take that you could develop behind George Fant, who's a free agent after this year. So we'll see how it plays out. I prefer a pass rusher at 4, though. I agree with your sentiment there, Meg A33. Why are we talking about Obi-Wan here? Obi-Wan Kenobi's watching. That's why. Wide receiver at 4. KT and Hutch are gone. You're not going to take a wide receiver that high, Obi-Wan. You'll get a wide receiver at 10. You could get a wide receiver if you trade back and still get someone you want. They won't go wide receiver at 4. The only time you would go wide receiver at 4 is if, there's a Calvin Johnson or Julio Jones type player in this draft, which there does not appear to be. And then as far as you, Obi-Wan, big fan of the trailer for the Disney Plus Obi-Wan show. Can't wait to watch it. Let's see. Melvin says, I got like 8 jerseys thanks to Jake. There you go. Jermaine Johnson and Drake London need size and consistent and contested ball catchers. We were so poor at it last year. And Zach gives his wide receivers a chance. Drake London to the Jets makes sense. You're not wrong. As far as Jermaine Johnson, I mean, this guy, you talk about a rise to draft season stardom. He was thought to be a late one, probably second round pick. That was legitimate conversation about him going in the top 5. Just shows you what happens when teams get a chance to actually invest time into watching a player's tape and to get to know a guy and coach a guy up at the Senior Bowl. If the Jets took Jermaine Johnson at 4, it shouldn't be shocking. They have more inside information than any other team besides maybe the Lions. They coach them at the Senior Bowl. They know what makes them tick. Wouldn't be crazy. Dale says, do you think we got a top 15 defense this year? Not yet. It depends on Carl Lawson coming back. It depends on what they do in the draft. They're clearly not going to be the 32nd ranked defense, but gee, Jake, or way to state the obvious, they're improved, but they are they're probably not a top 15 defense this yet, to be fair. Could they be better if they sign a couple more guys and spend these draft picks wisely? Absolutely. And they should be better. Year 2 of the system, guys coming back from injury, some of their young corners getting another year of experience underneath them. Their defense is drastically better. I just wouldn't say it's top 15 yet. Let's see. Couple more comments here. Let's see. June wants to know how much would it cost to sign Miles Jack. I guess Cole floated out 3 years, $27 million yesterday. I think somewhere in that range maybe can make some sense. I'd have to look at other linebackers' contracts for a comp. Super chat here from DX. He says, if we don't sign any wide receiver in free agency, should we draft 2? You're going to sign a free agent wide receiver. It might not be Allen Robinson, but last year, for an example, they brought in Keelan Cole for $5 million. Like, they're going to add a receiver, a notable veteran wide receiver. As far as them drafting 2, why not? Draft 1 at 10, and then if you love a guy at 35 or 38, why not? I don't think they'll do that, though. I think they'll take someone at 10, and then maybe a 3rd-round guy, 4th-round guy. Let's see. Matt with a super chat, he cuts the line. If the top 2 pass rushers are taken, who do you take at 4, or do you trade down? I would like to trade down, depending on which team's coming up, because I just think the Jets are in a spot where they could probably accumulate some extra picks and still get players that are going to help this team win in 22 while also giving you more flexibility for 2023. It depends, though. If Thibodeau's there, I'll just take him. If Hutchinson's there, I'm obviously taking him. I guess it depends how far you're trading down, Matt. And then how do the Jets feel about Jermaine Johnson? If they took him at 4, I won't criticize them for that. They have inside knowledge on the guy. And what I've been told about Johnson is NFL teams love the guy. So we'll see. This comment here hits the nail on the head. Jermaine Johnson also seems like the character guy Salah and Douglas like in his interviews. Yeah. He probably fits the quote-unquote Douglas and Salah mold. Mike White, he's back for $2 million. Yeah, so the Jets are going to have the same quarterback room from a year ago. That's good. Rich says, who will the Jets take at 4 if Aquano and Hutchinson and KT are gone? Evan Neal, I think, could be in play. I don't rule him out. Trade out could be in play. Jermaine Johnson or Trayvon Walker could be in play. There's a lot of options. Sauce Gardner's in play too. While I wouldn't take a corner that high, the idea that the Jets wouldn't, I think is something that has been discussed, but it's not a foregone conclusion. If they think Sauce Gardner is that good, they could take him. It wouldn't be crazy. King Joe wants Byron Pringle. Byron Pringle, not a bad kind of veteran receiver option that they can add. King Joe says LDT next. I think the Jets work out a contract with him. I think you're right on the money there, King Joe. Now you look at some of the players the Jets have brought back. It's been encouraging to see them kind of address their depth. Like I like bringing Feeney back. I like bringing obviously Barrios back, but like some of the moves like LaMarcus Joyner, I thought was a good signing. Connor McDermott is a good signing. You want guys that know the system, that are going to play better because they're in it for another year. There's continuity. I just kind of like I like the approach for the Jets. They know their guys better than others, and it's good to have familiar faces around the team as you continue the building process here. Nick says, with a good draft, I say the D is potentially top 10. It depends on the health of Carl Lawson and just how good this pick at 4 is. If it's an edge rusher and, let's say it's Thibodeau and Thibodeau's a beast opposite Lawson with Quinnen going into a contract year and JFM signs, yeah, it could be a defense that is top 10. There's upside on it, which is exciting. There's also unknown. Also, I see someone in the comments was talking about Jermaine Johnson being old. I believe he's 23 years old. He's not old. Obi-Wan says Karlaftis was in the top 5 a month ago. Did he tank the combine or something? He was thought to be top 5 in some mocks. He was all over the place, though. There were some mocks I saw even a couple months ago that had him back into the first round. It's been an interesting pre-draft process this year. There's not a consensus like top 5 that everyone has. Everyone's mocks seem to be a little different. A genius insider once said, help the quarterback get to the quarterback. Wiser words never spoken. The secondary doesn't do that. Now, the secondary doesn't help Zach Wilson as much as an edge rusher would or as much as, a receiver would. But you could argue the Jets defense being better would also be good for Zach Wilson. I'm not going to dispute that. I just don't think taking a corner that high is the move for the Jets over a pass rusher, unless the Jets just don't think any of the pass rushers are worthy of the 4th pick in the draft if the consensus top 2 are off the board. It depends on how it plays out. Nick says Whitehead is an upgrade over Marcus May. May was vastly overrated by Jet fans. Marcus May is a good player. He was hurt a lot. That was my issue with Marcus May. VR says, may the 4th be with Thibodeau. Also, I apologize for the lagging here. The internet, which is supposed to be improved, is not working as well. We are filming now in 1080p. I paid StreamYard the extra money a month to utilize this camera that I bought. So we are streaming in 1080p. Hopefully the internet doesn't lag as much now going forward. NY Jets Florida says Keenan wasn't horrible. Both are better. Both are better 5 million wide receivers. Keelan Cole coming back wouldn't be the worst move in the world. He knows the offense. He's got chemistry with Zach. They still need to obviously draft a receiver at 10, but I won't kill them if they brought back Keelan Cole. I would move on from Crowder. The guy's hurt too much. I love Crowder. It's not going to work. Siegel says confidence in Mekhi will determine the direction of the early picks. Look, the Jets have challenged Mekhi to come into camp in the best shape of his life. He told Damian Woody that he's doing that he's highly motivated. He wants to prove the haters wrong. Let's not forget Mekhi Becton was a heck of a player as a rookie. I think he's going to go out there and he is going to, look like a guy that we all were in love with 1 year into his career. Like, it's amazing how quick things change. Mekhi Becton was beloved by Jet fans. Steven says, excellent job, Jake, growing the channel. We are hungry Jet fans, and you're making videos every day. Awesome. Yeah, we've been doing daily content for almost a year. You get at least, 6 to 9 videos a week on this channel. You almost get a video every day, regardless of the time of year. But obviously, during free agent frenzy, we're going to try and put out as much content as possible. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Once we kind of wrap up this wave of free agency, I'm going to start announcing some of the special guests that I have scheduled over the next couple of weeks to come on, preview the draft, and talk Jets. You guys are going to like some of them. You've heard of some of them, and some of them we've been chasing down for a while. So I'm excited to be able to share some of these in the coming weeks. Drub Cabra says good coverage helps the team get to the quarterback. Yeah, no doubt. Like, Sauce Gardner would help the Jets become a better team. I just value premium positions that high, and so do the Jets. Like, Joe Douglas has been a GM now. Look at his draft picks. They've been offensive line. They've been quarterback. They've been guard. Yeah, like he values the premium pick model as well, as he should. Someone asked if the you want Carl Nassib. It depends on the cost. He's a rotational defensive end piece. It's kind of like what Vinny Curry was supposed to be for this team a year ago. He's not a star. 3-year, $51 million for Chandler Jones. Wow. This is why I knew the Jets were not going to sign him. He's on the wrong side of 30. They were not going to go out there and pay Chandler Jones that kind of money. What they were going to do, though, is try and see if they could bring someone in that is on good value. I look at Jadeveon Clowney, elite edge rush stuffer, elite run stuffer. Bring him in. He's not going to be as expensive. You probably could work out a 1 or 2 year deal. That's what I would do. Anthony says, Jake, when will Joe be aggressive? I mean, they've signed a bunch of really good players, Anthony. You don't think he's been aggressive? Sports Frenzy says Becton needs to come back in shape for training camp around 350, 355. That's the ideal weight for his size. I can't comment on what his ideal weight should be. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not going to pretend like I do. But he's got a nutritionist. He's got a dietitian. He's a world-class, multi-million-dollar athlete. He needs to come into camp in shape. Like, we're not asking for that much for him to be ready to go. Jets just signed Mike White. Yeah. Hell yeah. They should. We got the room back. QB room is back. What about Myles Jack? We've talked about Myles Jack. If you're just tuning in, I want the Jets to sign him. Depends on the price, of course. We know the Jets won't overpay. That's their mantra. But I would bring in Myles Jack in a second. I really would. Do a couple more here, then I'm off to work. Let's see. Someone's saying he should be 330, not 350. 350 sounds a little high. I'm not an offensive line coach, though. I don't know the answer to that. Did I miss any of your comments or questions? Let's see. I like this one from VR. May the 4th be Thibodeau. Thibodeau would be outstanding for the Jets, man. Those who are down on him, just watch him go to the Giants when the Jets pass on him and be a star. That's all I'm going to say. The Giants will draft their next great edge rusher, and every Jet fan is going to be saying, why didn't we do it? I don't want to go through that. Evan Neal is 360, 6'6", so there you go. Ed in Florida says, the only downside I see is that none of these free agent signings are game changers. Let me ask you this, though, Ed. The Jets have tried the game changer free agent round. How's that worked out? They need guys that are going into their second contracts that aren't going to reset the market, that are going to be important pieces to improve the roster. They don't need the Le'Veon Bells, the Tremaine Johnsons, the Darrelle Revis second contracts of the world. Like, they need guys that are going to come in that are going to be young but still ascending players that are going to be here going forward. Let's see. Someone says Evan Neal's now 337. All right. I'm happy for Evan Neal. Rich says, Jake, just want to say thank you for the content. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching, Rich. That's why I do it. Appreciate you. Let's see. Anders says, from someone in the fellowship, let's pick Garrett Wilson at number 10. The Wilson chant will be for both Zach and Garrett. The crowd, inspiration, Wilson, Wilson, Wilson. I'll tell you what, Wilson to Wilson would be a lot of fun. You know who would have a lot of fun with Wilson to Wilson? Every headline writer for every back page in New York. That would be incredible. Ed in Florida says, sorry, I'm old, so I remember Curtis Martin. Free agency back then was different than it is today in the cap era, in the different ways teams keep their players. Usually when a guy hits free agency, you got to ask, why are they hitting free agency in the first place? Because we've seen it now. The salary cap is fugazi. Like, teams, if they want to keep a player, they could find a way to do it. Cap hell actually sounds like a great place to be. I want a vacation in cap hell, as I've joked before. So, like, the days of, like, a Curtis Martin hitting the market just doesn't happen. Olave at 10. Look, Olave at 10 is gaining some steam by some draft people. Cole Thompson is very high on Olave. Both Ohio State wide receivers are probably top 20 picks, it seems like. Wilson squared. There'll be a lot of Castaway references. Wilson! Yeah, there'll be a lot of that. You know that's coming. Who are your top linebackers in the draft? I mean, Nakobe Dean, Devin Lloyd. I like Chad Muma a lot. Troy Anderson. A lot of good linebackers. Christian Harris from Alabama. URSD says, Jake caught you live. This is awesome. Let's get you a new high score viewer soon. Yeah, guys, appreciate the support, man. The views this week have been astronomical for the Jet content. And, it's not just my videos. Like every Jet content creator, I'm sure, is having a great week. So I appreciate you guys supporting the show. And I'm glad the Jets are giving us something to talk about that's positive. Michael says, think we're done at CB. What are the chances we draft Sauce at 10? It is possible if the Jets just think he's can't miss, and then maybe they trade back into round 1 to get their receiver. That's a strategy. I don't think they take Sauce at 4, though. So if they're going to take him at 10, how do they get the receiver? That's where they go out there and they trade back into the first round. First 2 picks will be edge and receiver. If the draft was today, I would agree. Lee Epstein says, Mel Kiper better not us still drafting Hamilton and Linderbaum. That'd be criminal. I don't think he will. Mel's mock drafts are going to change a lot, too. Let's see. Drex with his play-by-play call here. From Wilson to Wilson for 6, and the Jets make it to the playoffs. So it's a walk-off touchdown that sends the Jets to the playoffs. Sign me the hell up for that. The Wilson & Wilson law firm. Yeah, look, if they take them, there's going to be a lot of Wilson puns. I'm excited about that if they take them. Troy Anderson, hidden gem of the draft. I agree, Robert. For Jet fans, if you haven't watched Troy Anderson's tape yet, put it on. I think he's a guy that Robert Saleh would like to coach. No doubt about that. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up the show right now. Hey, if you like the Jets, if you like America, hit the subscribe button, please, on the right-hand side of your screen. It goes a long way towards this channel growing. I'm now over 13,000 subscribers. Guys, a year ago, I just hit 1,000. So that just shows you the growth that we've had in a year's time. So appreciate all of you for supporting the show throughout the year. Please like this video down below. It's that thumbs up icon. If it asks you to sign in, that's just sign in with your Gmail account. And once again, follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you want in on the giveaway to win this Elijah Moore jersey that I will mail to you at the end of the month. It's a black Elijah Moore jersey, size large. We're doing the giveaway at the end of the month, and I'll announce it on the channel who won. I'll obviously DM the winner as well. Appreciate you guys for watching. One quick reminder to sign up to BUSR if you want to bet on the NCAA tournament, BUSR.com/Asman. Support them. They support us, and I appreciate BUSR for being a big sponsor to the show. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. And should anything break with the Jets, be on the lookout for another video. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one, everyone.